नमस्ते मित्रों, आर्ट टीवी में आप सबका स्वागत है। आज के इस एपिसोड में हम बात करेंगे, विल टॉक टू डॉक्टर मनीषा पाटिल, who is an art historian, a researcher, an artist herself, and also an academician, and try to know her views, her opinions, and her findings in this art journey. One important observation or one important aspect of talking to or conversation with Dr. Manisha Patil is that we can have a three-dimension view, because she is an artist herself. Second, she's an academician, a teacher. And third one, she's a researcher and an art historian. So I think the conversation with her is going to be very interesting, because we can get a three-dimension response from this. A warm welcome, Dr. Manisha Patil, to Art TV. It's a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you so much, Vasanji. And you really made a very, I would say, flattering introduction to me. And I'm very happy to be here. And thank you for the invitation to be a part of this program on our team.
Thank you. It's a great pleasure. Before I begin with the conversation, with the discussion, could you please tell us something about yourself and your journey in art, your path traveled till now?
Well, I was raised in a city which is known as the cultural center of India, Calcutta. And I would say I was fortunate enough to have been brought up in a city like Calcutta, which kind of grows on you at all levels when you're a youngster, when you're a toddler, when you grow up slowly. Because the atmosphere is so charged with art. There is Robindra Sangeet, there is cinema, Ray cinema, Ritwik Ghatak cinema. Then there is art, visual art all everywhere. So my parents also encouraged me to paint, even as a young girl of all of three. And my mother took me to see exhibitions of artists in the Academy of Fine Arts in Calcutta, as also the Birla Academy of Art and Culture. So at an age when one does not understand much of art, but when one is surrounded by different types of art, it is bound to grow on you, and you are, you automatically become attracted to these things. True. So I would say these influences are very important, paramount in my life.
So that was the beginning. That is the way how you were introduced to art.
Exactly. I did study a little bit of art in the art class as well. But I was an instinctive painter, and I was always surrounded by my brushes and colors. It may sound very cliched at this point, but I really did enjoy my painting from a very tender age. I would say that, yes.
And what I understand that, or what I know about you, is that you had the opportunity to spend time in all the three schools of art, like Kolkata, Mumbai, Baroda.
Yes.
And each of them have their distinct school of thought, or they have their distinct ideology or something like. So how was that journey?
Absolutely. When I finished my schooling, and mind you, I was a science student, and parents never discouraged me from taking up art as a full-time professional course. And I think that was very magnanimous of them at that point, because being a science student, one could automatically, there would be a peer pressure and people thinking that this girl would take up science or something as a further academic option. But I did not do that. I enrolled at the Nagpur School of Art at the Chitrakala Mahavidyalaya, where I also met my future husband. He was studying there. And the academics in Nagpur was very similar to that of the JJ School of Art. And we were taught things like portraiture, creative painting, printmaking, and also art history. So my interest in art history goes back to my graduation days, as well as the many books my father bought for me when I was a teenager. So that
And
was
which
my
year was this?
brief journey. Yes, that was my brief journey in my 5 years graduation in Nagpur. And then I moved on to Baroda at the
In which
MS
year was that?
University.
In which year was that?
This was from 1977 to 1982. I was in Nagpur. And
Nagpur.
then 2 years I spent in Baroda at the
Mm-hmm.
MS University at the
Mm-hmm.
Art History and Aesthetics Department,
Mm-hmm.
where I got to learn, where I, was exposed to so much of art history, so much of art history that it is very difficult to, put it in words. It
Mm-hmm.
was such a vast ocean, so much to be tapped, so much to be studied, so much
Mm-hmm.
to be imbibed. So it was just like it was a wonderful, exciting 2 years in Baroda then.
Excellent. And thereafter, you settled in Mumbai. Now you're
I
based in Mumbai.
got an opportunity. It so happened that there were some posts which were vacant in art history in the JJ
Oh.
School of Art.
Mm-hmm.
And after passing with first class in distinction from MS University Baroda, I got a break in the JJ School of Art, and that is how I came there in 1984.
Okay.
So from 1984 to very recently till 2019, I
Mm-hmm.
have taught in two institutes, Sir JJ School of Art and the Chitrakala Mahavidyalaya in Nagpur, where I
Oh,
was transferred for a very long time.
okay.
And both experiences have been very enriching. So I would also like to relate one incident. There was a very important artist and a great academician
Mm-hmm.
and a painter,
Mm-hmm.
Baburao Sarvelkar, who
Mm-hmm.
interviewed me for this vacant post of lecturer in
Mm-hmm.
Bombay, and that is how I, joined JJ at the tender age of, I would say, I was not very experienced at all. I was just 23 when, after my post graduation, I
Mm-hmm.
joined Sir JJ School of Art.
Excellent. That's a what do you say? A brilliant big span of experiences at different schools, and and you have met so many different people in this journey that have now I get your experience. I feel that. I mean, I come to know like what's the how your thought process has evolved with time. Getting
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, you wanted
yes,
to
yes.
say something?
No. Please continue.
Yes, I would credit my knowledge of art history, whatever I have, the tip of the iceberg, I would say, to Professor Ratan Parimu, Dr. Ratan Parimu, in the MS University in our department in Baroda, and
Mm-hmm.
also my PhD guide, Dr. Deepak Kannal.
Yeah.
They both are still around, very active, very much active, writing scholarly papers,
Mm-hmm.
researching. And I think they are such a big inspiration for people like me, to not to be complacent, to delve more into art history, to write, to think, to rethink, So they have been a very big inspiration for me, and they continue to be. So I would like to share something. We
Mm-hmm.
have there is a volume, a felicitation volume brought out for Dr. Ratan Parimu by his daughter, the art historian Dr. Gauri Krishnan, and another art historian friend, Dr. Raghavendra Kulkarni, which is published. And we are
Mm-hmm.
soon going to have the official launch in Baroda in the last week of November. So I'm
Excellent.
looking forward to be there. I have contributed a paper there on
Excellent.
Vinayak Masoji, the painter, the Bengal school painter, Vinayak Masoji. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to be with all the artist friends or the alumni in Baroda very soon. So
Excellent.
this is one, I would say, this is my way of giving Guru Dakshina to my gurus.
Excellent. Yeah. Yeah. That was an interesting point what you made. It's like I'm sure in the coming questions now, it would be nice to hear a lot of things of your experience. Coming back to the next question, like usually my question, I don't want to pose the question with respect to art history or art research, but I want to pose it as a common layman. It's like,
okay.
Right. So we will come back to that with respect to art, with respect to this thing. We'll come back to the next part. But I want to begin asking you, as a common man,
Yes.
I see that people get connected to music, get connected to songs, get connected to films, theater, or some. But I don't see that same connection of a common man with respect to visual art. Now,
That's true, Vasanji. That's true. Yes.
yeah. The reason why I asked you this is, India is a country wherein we are so much connected to art. Now, for example, visual art, be it visual art only, we have so many beautiful temples, sculptures. We have so many beautiful paintings and artworks of gods and goddesses. Even the simple basic rangoli, which begins at home early morning, that also goes with lines and visual. The way how our temples are decorated. You know, in front of our house, we have the Tulsi Vrindavana, which is nothing but a installation art. In front of a temple, we have such a big chariot, such a big rath. That is an installation art.
Vajasambhas, yes.
So our dress, our fashion, you see, we are so colorful, we are so visual. Now, in spite of having such good foundation of visual art, yet there is a disconnect in the society between art, artists, and society among these three. So what's your opinion? What's your experience about, like, why is this disconnect?
Well, I would say that visual art has a certain disconnect with most people, not all of them, but somehow, particularly when the art is not representation. If there is an abstract painting or a semi-abstract painting or a symbolic work, they cannot relate to it. For example, I would give personal experience. I have these big eyes in my human figures, and very often, though they understand my work, they would say that why have you done the eyes in this way? I always tell them, because I feel I want to express myself. That is how I do it. So, in my opinion, people do understand things like landscape or a portrait in a better way. But when it comes to something more deeper, or something, which is non-representational or partly representational, they tend to move away from it. Yes. And one of the reasons why they become, they are more attracted to music or theater or films is that uh, I think even there I beg to differ, because most people like film music or something which is more, trendy or something like that. But just as one has to develop a ear for classical music, one has to develop a ear for Hari Prasad Chaurasia's Basuri, or the Santoor of Shiv Kumar Sharma, or the vocals of so many great masters like Rashid Khan, Kishori Amonkar, Pandit Jasraj, and so many others. I think one has to develop and also learn a little bit about art in a deeper sense. So I would say now there are so many avenues to acquaint oneself with visual arts. Like you have the Google, you have museums, but then one has to particularly make an effort to see a work of art and understand it in a different way. And I think we are lacking there. I think we are lacking there, and people just conveniently do not want to see something new, something different.
Yeah. Now, what you say is exactly correct. See, for example, even with films or with music or something, the understanding of music or understanding of acting, of that the texture of acting or something, that the people are not aware, but simply they get connected. For example, they listen to a song. If I ask them, ye kaun sa raag hai, ye kaun sa, they will not be able to tell you. They have no clue of that. But somewhere they get that connect. Maybe one of the thing is that yes, performing art has better connection than visual art. That is there. But
Yes, true.
yeah. So, but I always found that in terms of connection with them, I mean, why do you think that? I mean, is it because of lack of awareness? Is it because of lack of opportunity? Is it because lack of in the school times we are not taught? How do
Yes,
you think?
one of the reasons would be that right from our school days, where all the focus is on science subjects, mathematics, social science, and social studies, and so forth, art is relegated to the background. Things are changing in schools now, and I have been a part of the NCERT team who were designing courses for 11th and 12th. You know, they have textbooks
Mm-hmm.
for 11th and 12th on art history, where the basics of art history have been, introduced. So
Excellent.
I think this is a very big move. It's a, definite move that things are changing. But the acceptability, like parents do not accept that his child or her child could be an artist, could be a person different from the herd. So they think that there is no scope, there is no future in art. And that is why they tend to wean away the child from an interest in art. So that is, I think, that is a very important reason why uh, people tend to shy away from, approaching visual art in a more positive mode. That is one of the reasons. But I think schools are making an effort. There
Mm-hmm.
is a kind of a education system now where an effort has been made, a conscious effort has been made to introduce art at a much lower level, right from the primary level, I would say. But somehow, when a child grows up, when one becomes a teenager or is approaching his board exams, the interest gets, disintegrated or sometimes lost. Sometimes lost. Yes.
Um, now, the next thing that I want to ask you in connection to this is artists, they are the biggest ambassadors for art history. What I
Yes.
think is artists themselves are the biggest ambassadors. They are the biggest, they are the people who can transfer, who can create that awareness. In
Yes.
India, in India, how do you think the artist community has contributed to this awareness? Where through their paintings, have they promoted art history to their buyers, to the people, and to their friend circle in and around you? If yes, how much? If not, why do you think if there is a gap?
Well, I would say that when the art schools were established in British India, those days about 150 years back, there was no notion of something called history of art. You know, there was no notion of theory, no art history, no aesthetics. So basically, all the art schools only promoted or, encouraged students who had very good skills. We all
Mhm.
know that, but they had excellent skills and they moved ahead in life, chose art as a profession, but they would not be able to, name even five artists unless they were in the same batch or something. So
Mhm.
I think, there is an art movement of some sort, and many art galleries in India have also promoted the documentation of art through publications.
Mhm.
And this is a very important move because we are going to leave something for posterity. So the
Mhm.
National Gallery of Modern Art has its own publications on art. Uh, Art galleries like Delhi Art Gallery, Simrosa Art Gallery, all of them have, brought out publications, and there are so many others like Vadera. So a lot of artists have been, circulated via the publications of the galleries. So, but I would again say that this kind of material, this kind of the art books are mostly very plush books or catalogs, which are not available to the lay person, to the common person. They are too expensive most of the times. So a little bit of the elitist approach, I would say there, and they do not reach even an art student. An art student who is studying in a school, he would not be able to access it most of the time unless the library has purchased that book.
Correct.
Yes.
So, so the artist's role to create awareness about art history or to promote art history in the society, do you think so? Is that minimum, or do you think it's gone unrecognized?
Well, it is not optimized. I would say it is not working at an optimal level because of the various barriers, I would say. But
Because
at the same time, I think in the metros like Calcutta or Bombay or New Delhi, young art students are more aware of what is happening around them because there is accessibility. They can go to the National Museum, they can go to the National Gallery of Modern Art, they can go to the private art galleries to see art. So to see all forms of art, they would see Natraj from the Chola period in the National Museum, for instance. They would visit the CSMVS Museum in Bombay and see a lot of work of, say, somebody like the Bombay School artist Pestinji Bomanji, somebody like that. In Calcutta, they would be, familiar with works of so many of the Bengal school artists and then, of course, even the ancient sculptures of Bharot or Sanchi, they would be able to see it in museums. But I think the problem is that most of the students or artists, even young artists from the middle level towns and cities, do not have access to art. A, because there are no publications circulated around, and B, most of them are, wary about even visiting museums, even if they are visiting a big city. Like if they go to Hyderabad, I don't think every time the Salajang Museum would be on their priority list. So that is the sad story. That is a sad story.
See, one of the observations that I did is like 60, 70, 80% of the students in the art, or you can say the artists, they come from the vernacular medium background.
Yes, they do.
So language is a barrier. So even if they get a catalog or a book, now to read that article, to read that vocabulary and get, that is one barrier.
Yes.
I have seen that. Second thing, what I saw with the artists, for example, the students who pass out and who get into the market, they are more into like, how can I make it more selling?
Right. Absolutely.
Whereas when I speak to, very recently I was speaking to a German student, an art student. And when I spoke to that student, she was just 24 years old. But when she was talking to her art, she was presenting her art, she gave that background, like what was that art movement which inspired her, the artist, where it came, how it evolved in Germany or in that thing around her in Europe, and all. From there where she has taken it, and what is the concept that, and what is the contemporary concept of today, which she is. So when in that 20 minutes presentation, she made me travel through that entire thing.
Wonderful. I would say that is very nice. Yes.
This was one missing element even today also. Even when I invite artists for things, when I ask them what's your thought process, they, even in the vernacular language also, they are not able to present. They are not able to give that theme. They are not able to give that idea about. Now, what is that lacking? I mean, what is that bridging element, missing element? What do you think?
I agree with you. There is a terrible disconnect, that lacking element. Like you gave the example of the German artist who knows so much about their own tradition, and she could actually make a journey, map her evolution in art. But sadly, what happens is, in the case of our art students, the vernacular art students, wherever they know a little bit about their own region. For example, an artist from Bengal would know about Abanindranath Tagore and Nandalal Bose. But apart from that, he or she would not be aware that India is so diverse, so diverse.
Correct.
There's so much more
Correct.
to know, and this is that is what is lacking. According to me, it is not only the barrier of the language. Language is important because uh, the person, the art student or the artist would be comfortable reading in his own mother
Yeah,
tongue,
yeah, yeah.
Marathi or
Yeah,
Bengali
yeah,
or
yeah.
Gujarati, whatever. But apart from that, I think art is much beyond a language,
Language.
that kind of a language. Art has its own language. And you have to make, I would like to share my own experiences as a teacher. For example, from JJ School of Art, we had some students who came from the very regional kind of a background, provincial kind of a background. But some of them, not all, but some of them made a conscious effort to know more. They were very inquisitive and they wanted to move ahead. And that is how, they made a conscious effort to see more of visual art apart from their own art practice or whatever they were doing. And these artists have succeeded because their eyes were always open.
True.
Even now they speak probably only Marathi and smattering of English maybe, but their eyes are open and their horizons are so vast that they have been able to grasp and grow as an artist, as this German person you are talking about has done. So I think in their whole journey, this kind of open mindedness has helped them a lot. So I would say I mean, regional barriers are there. You were also talking about paid ka sawal hai. So artists have to work to earn, earn some money for their
True.
own living.
True. True.
But
True.
I think one has to, I mean, you cannot be very idealistic, I know, in these days, but you have to make a conscious effort to you have to, push the envelope and go beyond that to learn something new. It is not easy.
Absolutely.
It's a very tough journey, but unless you
Exactly.
take the tough path, हम लोग आगे नहीं जा सकते.
नहीं जा सकते.
हम लोग नहीं जा
See,
सकते.
when I speak about communication, when I speak about the language, I have met Europeans, I have met some Russian artists who don't know English. Trust me, they speak
Yes.
in their own. They are speaking. For example, I've met a French artist. He speaks French. Russian. He speaks Russian. Okay.
Japanese speak their own language.
Own language, but in their language also they keep this process. They explain this package very well. And then I get a translated one. I get an English translation. And with that, I see, oh, okay, this is what. So this is something. So even in India, if there are students who are talking in Marathi, in Kannada, or in Hindi, or in Bengali, any language, that is because art is beyond language. Language is just a tool. But even in that vernacular language, if they can bridge it, if they can map it, if they can say कि नहीं मैंने ऐसा किया था यहाँ से इसका इस moment से ऐसा करके. Whenever I talk to artists, it's like all they talk about is textures, compositions, and they talk about it's like so
Formal values.
very
Values.
formal values. So digging inside that becomes, so I find that gap so much. It's like, so maybe what's the solution? What do you think? Because you are a researcher, you're so much with our students. What do you think? What solution can be there where we can bridge this?
I do agree with you absolutely that there is something lacking, but I would like to give you the example of one of my favorite artists, Atul Dodia, who studied in a Gujarati medium, school, and but he had that vision and he had that jid, kuch karne ki jid thi. He had the talent, he had the skills. So when he was studying in JJ School of Art, he had all the time in the world to study the skills which he honed. And then when he moved out of JJ, when his the universe became very large, he imbibed many things. So even now he uses the visual imagery of, say, David Hockney or his favorite painter Bhupen Thakkar, because उन्होंने अतुल डोडिया ने beyond his skills, beyond rendering the human figure, he was also reading a lot. He read about Gandhiji. He read about other scholars, about other people, and he was imbibing it in his work, internalizing it in his work.
True.
Yes.
True. This one aspect, yours is because you're very right here. That's also another important observation which I have made, that the generation has lost the reading habit.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that too, and after this Google, after this internet world, everything you have ready-made information. So I find borrowed information more rather than discovered or researched information.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's like a fast food. Patak se.
Absolutely.
Okay. So that is one, I find that maybe that is one area. Another area which I find I think another thought should be given, or maybe it should be revisited by all the academicians or researchers. This is what I feel. What do you agree with this aspect of mine?
Well, the JJ School of Art Library, also our library in Nagpur, has an excellent collection of books.
True.
But apart from a few books which have been handled by students, most of them, are not even touched. Not even touched.
True.
You can see from the cover that hardly a handful of students have gone through these books, and very often I experience this in my classroom as well. That I would say that please refer to this, please see this. I would be excited, telling them, please see this, because that is how we were taught to see, taught to see in Baroda. So
Correct.
we were, when Dr. Parimu or Dr. Deepak Kannan was telling us something, they would ask us to visualize it, to feel Titian's textures, Titian's, way of using color. So there was so much of passion, so much of, there was so much they were putting into it that we were automatically inspired, to think in that way. And I would say that today's generation, whether it is just art students or even younger artists, are, they are not so passionate about learning. So only if you learn, and then you can de-learn also. You take
Correct.
something, or you reject something. You don't have to take everything.
Correct.
But this process of internalization is so intense. It is a long process which does not happen at the click of the button in Google.
True. Another observation or aspect of mine. I mean, this is my personal curiosity. What I think.
Today there's some disturbance going on outside. Yeah.
I know. But that's fine. That's fine. India is a beautiful country where you can have a lot of art forms in various ways. My next question, I would be very curious to know your point on this. See, as a curator, I have this some points. I know at times I feel like, oh my God, I want this from these guys on that, but they're not giving me that, or they are not going in that way. So there is always.
Can I interrupt, Vasanji? These people never come. They have come today with beating drums.
Yeah, no,
we'll just take a brief break. I'm just waiting for them to cross our, apartments and go.
Yes. No worries.
Some post-Diwali some stuff, something like
that. Yeah. That's usually they go from door to door, and
yes, and that's also an art. That's also an art.
That's what I was telling you, that in India you find art in different ways.
Absolutely.
And in fact, there are a lot of these folk artists who the street they come down to, they come down as street players. For example, Gana bajayenge, kuch, isnn. I have made a small study about that. They are essentially community or family based oriented people who have been doing since generations, and it's a very authentic one, but somewhere it's gone.
Yes.
And वो जो कलाकार थे वो भिखारी की तरह घूम रहे हैं.
Yes.
People treat them as beggars. I mean, the society treats them as beggars.
They have their own skills.
या उनका गाना, उनका हारमोनियम, उनका तबला बजाना, एंड दैट फोक सॉन्ग, उन्होंने वो लिरिक्स लिखी रहती है अपना ही अंदाज में, वो एक बहुत खूबसूरत चीज है. बट फॉर सम रीजन, लाइक पीपल लाइक.
True. Yes.
Yeah. Should we begin? Have they gone?
I just remembered when you were, I'm just continuing what you said. There is an excellent painting of the Mewar school, a Rajasthani miniature, which shows Radha and Krishna standing on opposite terraces with these acrobats, performing in the central ground. It has a deeper meaning, but I was just connecting to that when you mentioned these street performers. Yeah.
Well, I definitely want to do a specific episode on that, because I have some information on that, and I want to know. And there are many people who have some good information on that, so we should present that, I think. Anyway, I will continue from here.
Yeah.
See, now as a curator, I always think there are points where my expectation from the artist is this, and I'm not getting. I said, why am I not able to break that comfort zone? Why am I not able to push it? That is a point with this. I want something from my artist team, and it's not happening. Now, sometimes I do feel. Now, you as a researcher, as an academician, have you ever felt like this? Or do you feel like, I want my students to break this and go beyond this, but not happening? It's not happening somewhere. Like, do you have that point?
But I think some of them have been able to achieve, and are deeper. Their thoughts are processed, and they are actually succeeding. Succeeding not in the monetary.
There are even as a curator, even when I see my team doing, there are some people who go beyond my expectations. There are, but there's another one whom you think saying that this person can do, but is not able to do. Maybe he or she is not able to identify that particular strength in her or him or her, something like somewhere that. So have you ever experienced this?
Yeah. Well, there was this exhibition which I curated for the National Gallery of Modern Art in Mumbai, which was called Rethinking the Regional. Rethinking the Regional. Because we have talked a little bit about regional art and vernacular art and all that. So there was Dr. Sudhir Patwardhan, who was the advisor, as well as Ranjit Hoskote in the team. And I was given full charge as the curator. So this exhibition happened 5 years back, and I remember that we had a kind of a collage of artworks. For example, the artworks from Kolhapur, the region, it was about mapping the visual art of Maharashtra, essentially. So what we noticed was that from Kolhapur or Sangli or Nasik, you have the landscape being repeated in different ways. So the core subject is landscape, and you continue to have different versions of the landscape, but the language does not change much. Correct. But I did notice that artists who have moved away from their locale, from their roots, have carried some of their roots very strongly, adhered to their roots, and they produce something very different when they go to a different environment. So their art was strong. It was expressing in a different way apart, and it was not representational in that sense. So, you have artists, younger artists, not only from Maharashtra, but I would say from Karnataka, from Andhra Pradesh, from everywhere, who have produced work of a different genre when they move away from their roots.
True.
They have a lot of memories of childhood which they process in a different way.
Correct.
So there is a new way in which they can do it.
How do you think the contemporary art in India is happening? What's your opinion?
I wouldn't be the best person to, pass an opinion on it, but I would not, agree upon everything. I am a pretty old-fashioned person in that sense, though I do read about and I do see exhibitions of what is this cutting edge art and digital art and so forth. But when it comes to my own art practice, because I'm so traditional in that sense, I still like to use my colors, paper, brushes. I'm not so moved. I'm talking personally
Correct.
by certain art forms, but I would say, I mean, I wouldn't use a blanket term that all of it is bad or all of it is indifferent, but some of them are really, thinking beyond the conventional. But by and large, I am not, a great admirer of uh, cutting edge art or whatever they call it.
I I I think I would
Land
agree.
art and all.
Yeah, I would agree this point with this point of view, and I think I am also on the same plate. My observation is that when I see basically do anything in the name of creativity, but the basic thing remains the same. I mean, your
Yeah.
drawings, your lines, forms, colors will remain. You can't play beyond that now.
Yes.
Now, in the name of creativity and in the name of contemporary, I find something which are very weird. I'll be very honest. Even when I visit
Yes.
some big museums and all, also, it was totally. It's like you don't connect. You can't relate. Very
You
simple
can't.
was
Exactly. Yeah.
last year. I said after this COVID thing. I'll just give you an example. After this COVID thing happened, around about some just last year, I think November December time, I saw one installation art. The person said, like, what is COVID effect? And we all saw that when this COVID thing was happening here,
Oh.
especially in Australia here, we had a very shortage of these tissue papers, because suddenly there was a rumor that happened saying that, okay, tissue papers will not be there. And people really, they took everything, all the tissue papers from the
I remember we were in the US then, and this was happening in the
yeah.
US also. All the tissue papers are gone from the shelves.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I saw one art wherein a commode is kept and some lot of rolls are placed, tissue papers roll, and the title given is Corona Effect. I mean, like, seriously, are you serious?
Oh, okay.
It's like, even in the name of paintings, the second, one of the, and in the name of creativity, there's a lot of malpractices happening. For example, one of the malpractices or wrong practice which I saw is now a lot of digitally the image is created.
Yes.
Then on the canvas, a printout is taken out,
Yeah.
and
Technology.
then some painting touch up is done with oil and acrylic, and it goes as a painting.
I don't agree to this at all. I mean, this is cheating.
It's cheating, it's
Yes.
fraud, it's
It's
cheating.
fraud.
Okay. Now digital art, photography can be there and all, I do agree. So there are a lot of other things where what do you say, it can be a different medium. For example, that video art, you have that video art in the name of
Performance art.
body
Yeah.
art, in the name of performance art. There are many things it does. I don't connect, I simply can't relate. It's like, you know so always this is one of, I think this is one of the place or one of the aspects where the interaction has to happen. They're saying that something is not okay, it's not right. In the name of art, something, it's rubbish. And sorry to use the harsh word, but I think that was rubbish. It's like,
But on the other hand, all of these, new age artists think that whatever is done, by the previous generation is outdated. It is like something which is now,
so
which is not trending. So there are
somewhere,
so,
somewhere the trend goes like, what sells. For example, abstract sells. All the gods and figures like Shiva, Giva, Gai, Nandi, these are some Buddha, Ganesha, these are some subjects which sells, and works keep on. So the amount of people who really explore to express that thing is slowly crunching down, whereas there's a huge crowd which is coming like trendy, who is very impressed, who is very distinct. They want to impress, not express, about. So
Yes.
this is something which I see. Have you observed something similar? Am I right, or is my observation correct? Have you seen
Yes,
something?
that may be because of this Vastu concept also, because lot of architects and the Vastu people, Vastu experts, so to call it, have been influencing the society in a large way in these, adverse times. So a lot of people want to buy art which they can relate to and which is religious and which they think that it has some kind of a magical value, magical element attached to it, which would turn their fortunes or would help them,
True,
to
true,
to prosper, to prosper.
true.
So but this Vastu notion was not there so much earlier. It is there now. It is trending.
So, as an art historian, what does your observation say? Suppose if you see the path travel, like 50 years, 100 years, 150 years, some years back, how India was trending, how it was going, and currently, if at all you see the contemporary last 15, 20 years, how is it going? Is it in the right way, or are they following the right generation path or something like, or is it deviated? What's your observation?
Well, you cannot say at this point whether what is being done in the past, last 20 years is something wrong. I don't believe in it. Personally, it is not my cup of tea, but
No, I don't.
what
I'm not
has been
using the.
done in the past.
Yeah, sorry to cut. I'm not using the word wrong. I'm using, have they deviated?
Deviations are, a way of life. I mean, it's so natural that one has to deviate, one has to take different directions. One cannot have a linear kind of a journey.
True.
So linear journey अगर हम लोग देते तो हम लोग खत्म हो जाते हैं. You have to have, more a complex kind of a journey which is not multilinear kind of a journey. So you absorb different things and you imbibe certain things and then you move on. So I would say that in the context of India, India has had such a rich, such a diverse tradition of art right from the beginning, from the Indus Valley days, or to the Bharut sculptures, or the Sanchi sculptures, or Khajura, or Ellora. You name it, and we have had it. We don't
True.
even have to turn westwards. We have it all in our own country. So much of diversity. So
True.
when I look at miniature painting and when I see the color palette, the hot color palette, I can immediately, relate it to Raza's paintings.
True.
So Raza was influenced by miniature painting, particularly from the Rajasthani school, for those colors, for the spatial divisions, and you can immediately connect
True.
our own tradition. For example, we have such nothing to do with painting or sculpture, but if you see the embroideries of Kutch from Gujarat, there is so much of art in it. There's so much
True.
of skill in it. There
True.
is form, there is color, there is texture, and बहुत मजेदार है वो, बहुत मजेदार है. If you see
True.
the folk terracottas which are there in all so many pockets of our country, they have a wonderful understanding of form. But when we talk about art history, we are only talking about African masks or Oceania, something from Polynesia, because that is
Mhm.
more explored, very well documented. But we don't talk about Molela sculptures, Molela terracottas, or Bastar terracottas, for example. People know about Varli painting, but they don't go beyond Varli painting, sadly. Varli
True.
painting has been exploited and it has become quite cliche now. But
Correct.
apart from that, we have so many wonderful folk and tribal traditions
True.
which need to be, they have been studied, but the lay person, they do not look at it, they do
True.
not study it.
Yeah. Well, my next question is something connected to this. the current Indian art scenario. Okay, now for
Yes.
example, Indian art history, you see, it has a huge history. Now,
Yes.
one disadvantage is that it's not well documented like how the Westerners have done it.
Yes.
Yeah, because, and second one is like all these aspects of art have been informally documented, or informally they appear in different various forms. For example, it appears in dance, it appears in maybe some religious activities, but anywhere and everywhere you go, that art aesthetics is a part and parcel of a life. So
Yes. True.
my question would be like, do you think the current generation of artists, or this thing, do they have their roots very much intact of the Indianness of the Indian artistry or something, or do you think they are influenced by the Western artistry or the Western things? How do you see that?
Yes, actually, I wouldn't say that it is wrong to be influenced by Western art or Far Eastern art, because I'll cite the example of Nandalal Bose, the Bengal school painter.
Mhm.
He had so much of his own, Bengal ethos in his works. But when Chinese and Japanese artists came to Shantiniketan, he learned the brushwork, the calligraphic line
True.
from them, and he used that in his own. He deployed it in his own way in his landscapes. So,
Correct.
all in all, one can actually, mix influences. There can be influences, but it is up to you not to copy them just like
Correct.
that, but to use them for your own advantage as a visual artist. So there are many artists, for even Raza, for example, or even Souza, who have a mix of Indian and Western in them. That at that time the progressive artist group have been exposed to Western art in a big way, the
Correct.
various isms, and they have been internalizing it in a different ways. They had also the fortune to travel abroad on scholarships, and in
Correct.
such ways they learned so much. But I mean, you know what? I've seen one thing, that today's generation, thanks to Google, thanks to the digital medium, they have very quick approach to. They have access to global art. And
Correct.
very often we do not know what they are copying, to what extent they are copying. You know,
True.
absolutely aping in a way.
Correct.
Some things, a Western artist or somebody from China, it has happened. There are instances of that as well. So we would say that it is very modern, it is very postmodern, or it is very cutting edge or whatever. But it could be a copy, a bad copy or a good copy of some artist somewhere on the on the global map.
Correct. Correct. So, do you think the
Does that
artist?
answer your question? Does that answer your question in a way?
It does partially, but I would just like to specifically focus on that. My specific question would be like, is the current generation, do they
Yes.
have their roots intact to the Indianness or to the Indian artistry, or is it a borrowed information, or are they influenced, they have more from the Western one?
They have more awareness about Western art, for one reason, that Indian art is less documented. Indian art publications are relatively less, not so less as it was earlier, but
Mhm.
and somehow artists are, even a lay person would quickly pick up something on Van Gogh or Rembrandt, or like to read about the artists, but not so much about maybe Mathura sculptures or things like that. So automatically we are so geared to look westwards, that and Western art, even American art or European art, is documented so well, so it is always, you kind of get bombarded by Western art. And that is the reason, perhaps, and it is also taught in a big way in the schools, in the pedagogical, you have the framework where Western art is emphasized. But this is not so in places like Baroda or Shantiniketan, where a lot of Indian art where a lot of Far Eastern art, or Islamic art for that matter, folk and tribal art, is also taught in a big way.
Correct.
Young art students get exposed to what is happening in the West, what has happened in the West, as well as are aware of what is happening in our own country, what has happened what is our tradition. What is Hoysala sculpture, or what is Mathura sculpture. But overall, in cities like Bombay, or particularly the art schools established by British, like Sir J.J. School of Art, they do tend to look more westwards for inspiration, and they also are more aware of what has happened in the West than they are about their own country, about their own roots and traditions. I'm talking about, and this reflects in their practice also. But I would not generalize, because some gems, I would say, some artists have even made efforts to know about their own roots, and to use them in their own art practice.
True. But end of the day, if at all you see, for an artist to create an artwork, or
Yes.
for a buyer to buy an artwork,
Yes.
because that is the end, what do you say, the end point of it.
Yes. Yeah.
How significant and relevant is it for them to have the awareness or to know about the art history? What do you think?
It is always an advantage to know about art history, and art history knowledge. Some of the art collectors, even of course, they do make themselves aware of art history, because that is their profession. To sell art, or to buy art, or whatever, to collect art. But then there are a few particularly the younger generation of art collectors all across India, who are also making a conscious effort to know more about what they are buying. To know the worth of their work of art which they are buying. It may be intuitive in many ways, but they also are aware of its intrinsic value, because they have a little bit of knowledge about art movements. It always helps. It does help.
One of my observations is like, I always feel that if the art buyer can push the artist saying that you have created this, now give me some history about this, I think that is the time when the artist will go back to art history, because
Yes.
we understand only that as an artist. Because as long as the buyer is not asking anything,
Yes.
the artist's effort to do that will diminish.
True.
Because
True.
in the West here, I see like any buyer, for example, one of my Ganesha work drawing, a small drawing, one of the buyer was here.
Huh.
That lady asked me for 1 hour, there was a discussion about this art.
Oh,
She
okay.
asked like, what was this Ganesha? Why is that rat there? Okay. Then she came down to the pattern, to the design, to the drawings, like, then she came down to because it was a pen work. The amount of questions she asked, it's like, and then, but I luckily had answers for that, because I make it very interesting. Also, I give them good information. But
About
I said,
mythology and other.
it's like,
Yes.
yeah. Even with my erotic art series, it is like, at least then, when someone is here at my place, it's like for 2 hours, there's going to be a discussion. They just don't blindly pick up anything and go. It is like,
But that's a good thing. That's a good thing,
exactly,
because it's a very positive thing.
very.
And yes,
I
I
so
also discuss with my
yeah.
buyers. Yes, I do that.
I always always feel any buyer, he should really pose some questions to the artist, like, ये क्या किया है, ये क्यों किया है, कैसे किया है. Maybe the effort. I think the quality there about presenting that art, or the concept of that art, the communication of that art, awareness of art improve and go better. This is what I think. I don't know.
Yes, true. Vasanji, I think the first thing for a person, who is buying your art or appreciating your art, it has to appeal to that person.
Bilkul.
When it appeals to the person, he would be asking questions.
Questions.
Because, there's a connect between the artist and the onlooker.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
he asks question because he wants to, have ways of appreciating whether he's buying it,
Yeah,
acquiring
yeah, yeah.
or just looking at it more. And when he has more sound knowledge about that work of art, it is an interchange between the artist and the buyer, which is
Yeah.
very productive, thought provoking. Also, it also sometimes you also feel that when a person is buying your artwork, that person might be viewing it in a different perspective, and he
Bilkul.
has different sets of questions. It's interesting. This give and take, this dialogue
Yeah.
is extremely interesting.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
I encounter such
Such.
persons in my
It's
gallery.
interesting, isn't it? It's very interesting that time. Yeah. I think we will stop for today here, because this has been an
Yes.
interesting session going with the basics and all. I definitely will invite you for another round wherein
Sure.
wherein we go to the next some serious aspects of art history, because
Okay.
this subject is such huge, where I want to make good presentations to the society, to the people, saying that they know things about. I just don't want to make it a piece of information, just like another catalog. Okay, so
Okay, yeah, but I would just add one point that
yeah,
many of these art historians or theoretical people like Parimu or Dr. Parimu or Deepak Kannal or KG Subramanian, for that interest, are also practicing artists.
yeah,
So it's
yeah,
a great combination of
combination of that.
art practice and theory that is also very relevant in
Yes,
this
yes,
context.
absolutely.
Yes.
And also, I definitely want to talk about your art, because I've seen your paintings, very brilliant, very curious to know many aspects of your painting. So as an artist also, we would like to know many things from you. And
Thank you so much.
yeah,
Thank you so
so,
much. And it would be very interesting to get back again on this platform whenever we get a chance to meet again.
yes, yes, yes,
And
please tell them that.
I would like to thank you and RTV for today's session. I hope it was thought provoking. It brought a few more questions. And it was something which gives us something more to think about, to ponder about for the future.
Yes, it's just the beginning. So because
Yes, yes.
this subject has to be explored. I feel
It's
this subject
such
has
a
to be.
vast ocean. Yes, it's a
Yes,
vast
yes,
ocean.
yes,
But
yes, yes.
thank you all the same.
Thank you
Thank you.
very much. Friends,
Yes.
I hope you enjoyed this session. I believe that this session would be informative for you. Do like, share, comment, and subscribe RTV. And thank you very much, Dr. Manisha Patil, for being in RTV. We once again will connect for more specific topics.
Thank you, Vasanji. Bye.
Thank you very
Bye-bye.
much. Thank you.